All right. Hello, Podcast Nation. Welcome to the Be Great, Be Kind, Steve Kim Experience podcast. I am so excited. I have someone on the show today who I have been creeping on social media since I started social media. Bolton's Bites, that's your handle. It's Mike Bolton. You are phenomenally genuine, amazing, kind, awesome in person. But your craft on social media is just next level. So thank you so much, Mike, for making the trek from Toronto up to my office. You sharing this time truly means the world to me. So thank you so much for coming.
Thanks for having me on the show. I'm excited.
I'm so excited. We've been talking for the past little while, trying to figure out a time for you to get here. I was actually really nervous. Sending you a DM, be like, I don't want him thinking like I'm just asking, but I was like, I really need to like have you on the podcast. So
you asked me right after we met at Burger Mania, right? So I think you asked at the perfect time, right? We
you were happy. I'm like, he can't say no. Amazing. So Mike, can you just share with the audience? So who is Bolton's Bites? Who is Mike Bolton?
Okay, so just to get one misconception out of the way right off the bat, I'm not from the town of Bolton, Ontario. As you mentioned, my last name is Bolton.
Yeah.
So, many people have made that mistake before. But yeah, primarily I feature stuff like food in Toronto right now. So the account started about maybe 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
It actually started in kind of a weird roundabout way. At the time, I was very interested in marketing and social media marketing, and just generally wanted to be in business. I even tried creating a kind of a social media marketing agency with a friend of mine. That's not always the best idea to go into business with a friend, but we won't get into that. Yeah. But I will say, so we went out there. We were kind of willing to work with almost anybody. We tried to get a basement renovation company. We almost did. Wow. But then around that time, I was dating a girl who lived in California, and she has a successful cafe down there. And she said to me, you love food so much, and you're so interested in social media marketing, I'm surprised you don't have one of those Instagram food blogs or like a foodie page. Yeah. And I had an idea of what she was talking about, but I kind of like inquired more with her, like what exactly like do you mean and all this, because I didn't know the full extent of like what being a food influencer would be. Yeah. And she said, like we have these people down here in California who, like, we've even had like food influencers come to our cafe, and that's actually one of the things that made her business really blow up. Yeah. One food influencer came in, and then they shared something, and then Insider Food went or Insider Dessert went and shared that, and then her business just blew up. Like, I think she has about like 80K on Instagram and all this, and it actually translated into the real world and all this. She actually kind of like started that whole like unicorn trend with like unicorn cakes, unicorn coffees.
No way.
Yeah, that then Starbucks went and turned into something. Oh, so she was like the original innovator or like pioneer of that. But then like it kind of like, it's so tough to trademark things in this world, especially with food. Yeah. You can trademark a slogan or something like that, right? Yeah. And then nobody can use that exact sentence, but you can't necessarily trademark a unicorn coffee. So Starbucks took it.
Went crazy.
Starbucks blew it up. Yeah. And so she kind of knew about that, like influencer or food influencer side of things. She told me about that, and I was like, I've sort of thought about maybe creating some sort of food account before, but I was just at the time, I was just trying to do like so many different things. Yeah. Not a good idea in business. I think you have to focus on one thing and focus really hard on that, and just do that one thing for a while. Yes. But her saying that did make me think to myself, you know what, I should do this. And then speaking with her about it, it kind of also changed my mind. I think I was going to maybe do like a universal themed like repost account or something like that. Bad idea. We kind of came up with the name even together. She said something like Bolton's Bearded Bites. I'm like, I like it, but I don't think it needs the bearded part. Right? They're going to see that anyway.
Yeah, yeah.
So I said, what about just Bolton's Bites?
Yeah.
Talked about it. Yeah, that sounds good. Da-da-da-da. She came up with my original logo as well.
Oh, yeah?
She's a very talented girl. She actually taught herself like graphic design and all this back in the day as well. So I have a different logo now. But anyway, after that phone conversation, I basically went out there with the intent of building a food account. And I would even go as far as saying I kind of went out there like I wanted to build a big account.
Sure.
I wanted to kind of become what it is today, but I probably couldn't have really estimated just how well that would go.
Like it's bananas. Like I think it's also because of your passion. You're so passionate about it that it flows easily onto like Instagram. Like it's beautiful, and I get to see you. Your audience gets to see the genuine Mike Bolton. And I think because of that, there's so much tremendous value. Like you know this way more than I know this, but that level of authenticity is, I find, lost. It's not really there on social media. People are always wanting it to be perfectly crafted. I got to look this way. It's got to be.
I wouldn't say that I necessarily know that better than you, though, Steve.
Hey, I you were the first account that I really started being like, I like this guy, like this. Okay, this is the real deal. You know it because you exist there all of the time.
But your style of the way you kind of create content is similar, right? You're kind of just, you know Gary Vaynerchuk, right?
Yeah. Oh, huge.
Gary V.
Yeah.
So
who's that again?
His whole thing is, yeah, I figured you know who he was. His whole thing is document instead of creating, right?
Yes.
So it's easier to have like just buckets full of content if what you're doing is just throughout your day.
Yeah.
You're just documenting what you would normally do anyway from the perspective of, say, like a real estate agent.
Sure.
Or from the perspective of like a food blogger, and if you can fit a bit of that documentation in what you're doing every day, you're going to have more content than you even know what to do with.
Bingo.
Because you
Bingo.
can be getting photos,
Yeah.
videos. You can be filming your podcast,
Yeah.
and you'll have the audio
Yeah.
and you'll have the video.
Yeah.
But yeah, his whole thing is document instead of like being so particular and taking like months to come up with the perfect concept of what of creating something.
Yeah.
Right. Putting too much thought, never getting anything done. I think you actually posted that in your story today, actually.
Just getting stuff done.
But I will say one thing.
Yeah.
Because we probably will end up talking about it, because in the half hour before we actually started filming and getting the audio going, we were talking about my show, Fun 16.
Oh, man. It is. Let's talk about that right now.
Initially,
Okay.
I wanted to do it not as like something that would be quick and easy and like documentable, but I wanted to create like almost a production where I would have like a videographer film me, and it might have ended up being like maybe half an hour long and for YouTube and all this,
Yeah.
but I wanted to be in like the most like the highest fidelity and all of this and really be like detailed. And I was going to do it with my buddy on Instagram. He's Dao Lao.
Dao Lao, okay.
He's a really great cook,
okay.
and he specializes in Laotian food. That's his background and all of this. But I was going to have him do basically pho reviews in Toronto, but do it all in one episode where we maybe go out and we review like the top 5 based on what Blog TO says or what different media outlets in Toronto say are the best. And we were going to do that, but more in kind of a big production. You spend time trying to make that happen. The videographer who I was going to have help me with that ended up actually going to New Zealand.
Oh, man.
And he's going to be there for a year.
Oh, man.
So after that, you get frustrated with nothing happening.
Yeah.
So instead, I just said to my buddy Marcello, why don't we start doing pho reviews?
Yeah.
And now it's so easy to do. He literally is just holding my iPhone
Yep.
and filming me at
Yes.
these pho joints. And it's like, a 10-minute long video. We're done. We eat the pho. On to the next.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're here now. We're filming off of an iPhone. Like, that's the power of just what we have here.
Yeah.
And, you know, Levy and I did a big workshop for realtors this past week, and so many people were just amazed, being like, what? There's no, I don't believe you. You're not doing everything off of your phone. Like, you got DSLRs. I'm like, no. Because
especially when you put into 4K. It ups your game, you know?
Right? And I'm just like, but that's, if you're solely in for just the production aspect of it, like making a pretty huge production, sure, invest in it. But if you got something that you're passionate about and you just want to get it out to people, this is all you need, which is what you're doing though, right? Which is crazy. Something
to look back on too, you know, before you become a big budget production and all this, start with your iPhone. It's going to be a beautiful thing when you look back 5 years later and you're like, wow,
yeah,
look how crappy that looks. Like, look how far we've come, guys.
It's funny because we were just briefly before we started, I want to touch upon this because every person who comes on the podcast, every guest has always been like, oh, we should start the podcast. I'm like, I know we should. Because
we had some grade A material.
We did, right? So
we'll
bring
the
it
red
back.
light turned on, and I was saying to Steve, like, oh geez, you know, when the red light turns on, you freeze up, and it's just like, yes, I am a food blogger from Toronto. My name is Mike Bolton.
It's true though,
but thankfully that didn't happen.
Yeah, but it's just because the thing is because we know each other, like the level in which we know each other. I wouldn't say intimately, but well enough to be like, yeah, that's Mike. Yeah, that's Steve. Like, okay. Right? Yeah. So it's just the authenticity in just even this relationship. I absolutely love. I think it's phenomenal. So I know you are incredibly passionate about food. What are some other things that you're really passionate about? Because we're going to get into all the food and just your crazy Instagram accounts and where you're crushing social. What else are you truly passionate about that maybe you don't highlight on social?
I think I've probably touched upon it a few times, but not enough for people to really know. Okay. It's just been mentioned a couple times here and there. But before I got into this whole food blogging thing, if we take it way back to when I was maybe about 15 years old.
Okay. We're going old school.
Until about the age of 27.
Oh, okay.
So it was a big part of my life,
yeah.
big chunk of my life, and still is, music.
Yeah.
So before all of this, from 15 to 27, I was actively pursuing trying to basically be a professional musician.
No way.
/ rock star, if you will.
Okay.
Yeah. But so I was so diehard, like so into we would do, you know, maybe a rehearsal a week and then be out there like gigging maybe 2 or 3 times a week and all this with some of my bands.
Wow.
And then it wasn't until the age of like 27 that I kind of just took a complete turn in a different direction. The band I was in at the time kind of helped me with that because I thought to myself, they wanted to go on an American tour, and I was like, I can't really think of anything worse than being in this van with these guys for months on end. So I think I'm gonna actually opt out. Now, instead of going out there and maybe starting another band or something like that, I just kind of at that point just decided there was other areas of my life that I need to work on. And actually, let me also just say, nothing against those guys and all this. It's just that I thought to myself, like, is this truly what I want in my life? Maybe never having, you know, a place to call my own. Yeah. You know, if you were a touring musician, you might always be on the road and all this. You might be on the road 320 days out of the year. And I thought to myself, is that truly what I want in my life? And then I kind of decided at that point, maybe that isn't what I want.
Okay. I got to ask, what did you play? What instrument?
I started my music career as a guitar player, but then very soon after, for my first band, I was the lead singer, because I kind of had I had a good like natural voice and all of this, but also none of the guys in that band could sing as well. Yeah. But yeah, and then so then I was guitar player, singer. I was taking vocal lessons around that time. I was taking guitar lessons around that time. Definitely got to the point where I was a pretty good singer. I'm
like, my mind is blown right now. Like, I'm fighting the urge to be like, sing. I'm not going to ask you to, but I'm like fighting the urge.
We'll see.
Okay. Yes.
Maybe a little wrap up, a little outro.
That's amazing. That's incredible.
I'll write you a jingle.
Sweet. Jingle for a podcast.
Be great, be kind. Jingle for the Steve Kim Show.
Awesome. So what kind of music was it?
So throughout the time from, maybe my first band was 16, so 16 to 27, I was in various bands, but it was rock music predominantly, but a lot of things fit under that umbrella, right? So but I would say, so some of the bands were like, the last one was a Motown rock band, so sort of like a old school like soul influence, but injected into like a modern rock kind of sound.
Oh wow,
okay. So kind of like we used to say like Kings of Leon meets the Alabama Shakes, or something like that. So so that was one. Then there was a one of them was kind of like more of an alternative rock band, so kind of like Muse, Radiohead, again a little Kings of Leon. I was also in a 50s, 60s rock and roll cover band called The Dreamboats, where we used to come on stage in full, like, matching uniforms, jackets. Baby blue jackets and all that. Does
this exist anywhere right now?
They still play.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Are you?
And they're great.
Can I find you in video anywhere?
You probably could, yeah.
Oh, man. Okay. Yes. I'm going to find.
That was probably actually, even though it was like cover music and all this, but I mean, really, that's like one of the best eras of music ever. Like 50s, 60s music. It was like the way they crafted their music back then. They were like true artists and so dedicated to the music. Yeah. Right? But that was probably the most fun I ever had on stage, is in that 50s, 60s rock and roll cover band, because everybody loves it, whether it's like
everyone,
your 90-year-old grandmother or the 17-year-old girl out in the crowd.
Well, I used to DJ for many years, and I started then doing a couple of weddings in here and stuff like that. The 60s era crushed it on the dance floor. You pop in some, like, crushed it. So I 100% agree.
It actually gets people dancing.
It's crazy.
Like nothing else.
From generation to generation, it's crazy, right? Yeah. That's amazing.
And that's why it was so fun, because the audience feedback was like nothing else.
Okay.
It was good for the Motown rock band. It was good for the alternative rock band. Like, people aren't really dancing to alternative rock quite as much. First band ever was actually a blues rock band. That was the one I was lead singer for, and it also like a lot of classic rock influence. That's the thing that really also got me really heavy into music, was actually the blues.
Oh yeah.
So like first artist that really made me get very serious about it, Jimi Hendrix.
Nice.
And it was like, and I was a 15-year-old kid too, right? So
but he's so popular now still though.
Yeah,
like Hendrix, right? Like
timeless.
Wow,
for sure.
That's crazy.
And then I got all into like the B.B. King, the Albert King, the Eric Clapton, the Stevie Ray Vaughan, that sort of stuff. But also a ton of classic rock, Led Zeppelin.
Nice.
Yeah.
Pink Floyd.
Yeah.
Alice in Chains. That's a little bit of a different. Sorry. Maybe there's just me being like, I love Alice in Chains.
Yep. Maybe not.
No, that's amazing. And you know what? One thing that I love is, especially with the podcast, having people on just share their passions. You talking about your music, your whole body is like, this was amazing. 15 to 27, like this was it, right? Do you ever miss it?
Oh, I kind of knew you were going to ask that question.
Do you ever miss it?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I do. Especially if I hear like some really great music live.
Yeah.
For example, I went to a really great concert about maybe a year and a half ago at Molson Amphitheater, now the Budweiser stage.
Yeah.
I don't even like to call it that.
It's a Molson Amphitheater. It's like the ACC. What is it, Scotia Bank Arena? That's the ACC.
Sort of thing, right?
Yeah.
Canadians sell everything.
Hey.
But yeah, no, that was an amazing concert. It was like Counting Crows and I think Matchbox 20.
Oh, nice.
But seeing them live, I really started to question, like, geez, like, why am I not doing this? But these moments can sort of just come to you, and it doesn't mean that they're necessarily like it's necessarily true, and you have to like follow it.
Okay.
And all of this, but yeah.
What do you mean by that? Because the one thing that you know my story. 40 years old, left a great job, super secure in the teaching profession, lined up my retirement, my pension, everything, and I dropped the whole thing. I left it, and everyone's like, you're crazy for doing that. You're making great money, short hours, tons of vacation, benefits, wicked pension. Why in the world are you doing that? And the thing for me is like, I don't want to live a life with any regret. I don't want to wait till I'm 57 years old when I can technically retire from the board and then start crushing real estate. For me, I could die tomorrow. And I know Gary Vee talks about this. It's just perspective. And I've always been this way, being like, I have many passions in my life, but when something's so like fire inside of me, I feel like I'm doing myself a disservice if I'm not giving it at that point right then and there. You have a different kind of
no. Actually, no. But I seriously do relate to that.
Okay, cool.
It's just that right now, the real like burning fire is actually this food.
And it shows though. It shows that. It shows. So, how did you get your start? So I know going into Cali, seeing that.
Oh, so I actually didn't even go down to California. This girl came up to Canada about twice.
Okay.
The first time that she came up here, we kind of just explored Toronto and this and that, and a lot of it actually was kind of food related. Like we went on a kind of a Kensington market, like
nice.
Food crawl, if you will. Just checked out a whole bunch of different places. Really kind of got an idea of like that whole scene and all that.
Yeah.
Like it's just so condensed with amazing restaurants in Kensington Market.
Have you hit every restaurant in Kensington Market? I've always wanted to ask you this. It's funny that you're thinking. Oh, really? Okay.
Not, but quite a few of them.
Yeah.
And then the second time she came up, we went to Montreal, and that was just like, Montreal is amazing for food. So that was just again same thing.
So it's interesting.
Schwartz's, all the poutine spots, really amazing brunch places. Yeah.
Who is a better? I'm gonna ask you. Who is a better food scene? Toronto or Montreal, or are they just too different?
I want to say that maybe Toronto is more eclectic, but I don't even know if I can say that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Montreal is pretty great too, right?
It is.
I think they both have maybe their strengths as well.
Yeah. Oh wow, that's crazy.
I couldn't crown a champion.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
I don't think I'm in the place to do that.
Maybe off camera.
I'll start a feud.
A food rivalry, city to city. Can I ask you, for people who don't know, I don't know anyone who wouldn't know, but really, what is a foodie? So you're a foodie, social media influencer. What does that mean?
So I would say that...
Or do you buy into
foodie,
that? Yeah, sure, yeah.
I would say actually just encompasses a lot of different people. You're probably a foodie. Well, you are a foodie.
I like food.
You do your...
Foodie Fridays.
Yeah,
which is...
You don't have to have an Instagram following or like a big Instagram following to be a foodie, right? So that might be a little bit of a misconception there.
Okay.
Like I think originally the term started as just someone who loves food, right?
Okay.
And there are people who eat just to sort of like satisfy your needs as a human, right?
Your sustenance.
And then there are exactly. And then there's other people who when they eat, they really like they put that time and care in, and they're really like they're going out of their way to taste the food and really enjoy it, right?
Yeah.
And kind of like savor it in that way, right?
Yeah.
And then I do have a buddy, when he eats, he just scarfs down that food in like 3 minutes flat, and I'm still eating it, enjoying it. I'm just like, what is wrong with you, man?
Okay.
I don't know if we should hang out as much. Like, he's a good guy though. Like,
yeah.
But yeah, like that's just something I've observed with him. He just wolfs it down, and that's just not what food is for me.
Okay.
I like to enjoy it every second of it, every bite. Right.
Yeah.
I never rush it.
Do you consider yourself a social media influencer?
Yes.
Good answer. Thank you for being. You are in my eyes 1,000,000%.
Yeah.
What does that mean? Like,
I would say when you're at the point where you are reaching many people, especially also when it gets to the point where it's just maybe it's not even just like friends and acquaintances and all of this, but it goes further than that, and now you're reaching, like, you could have someone come out of the woodwork in your comments thread and be like, oh my God, where is that place? Da 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 da.
Yeah.
And then and I'll be like, oh, who is this person?
Yeah, yeah.
I've never seen this account before. They were just kind of hiding it in the woodwork or whatever,
Yeah.
and they've come out. So I can't even really keep track of all of the different people who are probably seeing my stuff. I sometimes lose track of maybe just how much influence I might have.
Yeah.
I went out to a kind of a Jamaican jerk restaurant in Burlington the other day, and the owner there, such a nice lady, by the way, too. It's kind of like a mother and daughter operation.
Love it.
Yeah. I love restaurants like that for sure, like the ma and pa style
Yes.
places. But she said that I came like highly recommended as someone to have come through and all this.
Wow.
And so once we
Wow.
got there, me and my buddy Marcello, Toronto Food Reviews, a little shout out to him. That's his Instagram account.
Okay. You're such a good guy, man. You're such a good guy.
Who?
You are, man. Like, you're such a good guy. You are.
You know, I enjoy giving value. I feel like it's easier to just sort of give value to people who deserve it, right? You know, if someone's treating you like crap or something, and you're just like continually giving value or something. You know, I'm not Mother Teresa here, right? But like, yeah. But we went out to. We'll come back to maybe the value giving part. But
Sure.
I went out to Burlington, and when I met the owner of this restaurant, she said I came highly recommended, and she said and I asked who were these people that recommended me?
Yeah.
And she was naming restaurant owners and
No way.
this and yeah. So she mentioned Gladiator Burger in Mississauga when my daughter went out there to pick up some food for us. One of the owners there, or the owner's wife, mentioned you, and then this place, another place in Burlington that I had done something with recently called Studebaker Burlington, had also recommended me and all this.
Wow.
And you just sort of lose touch, especially the when you have a larger following, you kind of lose touch of maybe how much influence you do have, because you got to remember that not everyone looking at your post is going to comment in this, but some are just going to look, and digest the content, pun intended. They might just look at the picture. They might not even give you a like,
Yeah.
People use social media in different ways.
Yeah.
I guess for us,
Yeah.
the really active guys who are trying to go out there and do it and use it for business, but also use it for connecting with people and all of this. We're more likely to go and drop a comment.
Huge.
and all of this, right?
Yeah.
But your average person, maybe they don't really like posts and all
Yeah.
this. People use it in different ways.
Yeah.
Not everyone gets the double tap, right? So you sort of especially with this new algorithm.
Yeah, we'll talk
which
to
isn't so great, but you sort of lose touch of how much influence you might have.
One thing I massive respect to you is you always comment on people. That's the one thing that I've noticed. You'll get hundreds of comments.
Oh, in terms of responding.
Yeah, and you always respond.
So that
For me, it's easy. I make it a
that
dozen.
is a Gary V. That is a Gary V lesson right there.
Okay. I respond to everything, but I'm working
Have
off
you ever
maybe
heard
a
him
dozen.
say that exact? He says, people ask me, how do you get bigger on social media?
Yeah.
Then I go and I look at their account and I see, so they have 8 comments on a post.
Yeah.
And they're asking me, how do you get bigger on social media? Yet they don't even take the time to respond to those 8 comments.
Yeah.
It's that's how you get bigger. If you actually care about your audience and all this,
Yeah.
8 comments.
Yeah.
What does it take to respond to somebody?
Do it on the washer.
And you're trying to say that you want to grow a bigger account and all of this, but you don't even care about your following.
That's crazy. No, it's really building that group of digital advocates, right, on social media.
When someone takes the time to comment on my stuff,
Yeah.
I don't care who it is.
Yeah.
I'm thankful about that. Thank you for caring.
Yeah. What's
Because
great?
it's so oversaturated on social media
Yeah.
too, right?
Yeah.
Think about how many people how many people someone might follow,
Yeah.
and how much is coming up in their feed and all of this too, and they take the time to take an interest.
In your comments though, that's genuinely you. I know, I've studied social media and things like that. I just wouldn't say study, but I've heard there are these different bot systems that if someone comments on your post, it'll automatically give just an emoji thumbs up and things like that. I know those.
I figured that. Yeah,
I know those.
I know about that stuff
Yeah.
too.
You though, every comment is different. You'll get like 343 comments, and I'm just like, holy,
Whoa,
like,
no, not that much.
you're such an like. I'm gonna go back. There was a
Maybe
post. There was
honestly,
a lot.
if you see that many comments, it's sometimes a bad sign.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
There's something called Instagram pods.
Okay.
Not to just like throw a lot of people under the bus.
Yeah.
But there are people who are sort of getting like obligated comments from other people.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So it's like a bunch of foodies will get together, they'll get into a DM group.
Yeah.
And then when they drop a post, they'll like go and they'll send it out like to that DM group.
Oh, no
and then
way.
everyone knows to go and comment on all this.
Oh,
right?
okay.
You know what?
This is like maybe the deep, dark side of food.
It just has to be genuine.
Yeah.
And if I'm being like completely honest, back in the day, about a year ago, I was in some of them.
Okay. I love it.
I just decided like one night, I was like, number one, this is a waste of time.
Yeah. Okay.
And also like having to be obligated to comment as opposed to just feeling it.
Yeah. That's not you. That's not you.
Yeah, you're like, I just figured I could go the more genuine route.
Yeah.
So I left all of them in one night.
No way. Were they pissed?
Sorry guys, Yeah. Let's still keep in touch,
Yeah.
And all of this. And now the cool thing is too, if they want to comment on my stuff, cool.
Yeah.
If I want to comment on theirs, cool.
Yeah.
I'm still more than happy to help someone out with the comments and all this. If I like the content and all that, but like I don't like the whole like obligated commenting thing, I guess.
Yeah. It seems disingenuous though, right?
Yeah, and I guess it also kind of like fools like PR agencies as well and restaurants and all this. And I think like, oh my God, this foodie has like 300 comments on their stuff. We should get them in.
Yeah.
But also the way that the Instagram algorithm works now.
Yeah.
Is Instagram will send your post to the people who are engaging the most.
Yes.
And if you're in Instagram pods, eventually what it's going to do is only send your posts to the people in your pods. So what influence do you really have when you're only reaching the food influencers? I want to reach the people who are just the restaurant lovers.
Sure, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please stay tuned for part 2 next week. As always, be great, be kind, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.